There was just the two of us for about the first 3-4 months, so it was kitchen in the morning, finish up by 11-12, run out, strip the beds down, make the beds, then run down and do the laundry until 6 at night. It's how I think most innkeepers start out. You know, they all start out thinking, oh, this is great, and it's wonderful, and then you get into it, and then you realize that if you continue under that same basis, you'll go absolutely nuts.
It takes the love of what you're doing first, and it takes a kind of person who is not afraid of working many, many hours a day, a person who enjoys having the people around and doing a lot of things at once. You can't ever plug into feeling like you're going to be just doing one thing and then plan out before that what it's going to be. Because in innkeeping, you have to change in a moment to something different. You have to be totally flexible and love it. That's what I feel.
Louise Stewart, her husband Pat Walter, and their daughter Elena opened the Grant Corner Inn in 1981. And here, a family's personal story has unfolded while hosting travelers from all over the world.
Travel in style is many things, and certainly one of those things is romance. A bed and breakfast or country inn can be a memorable experience for couples in love, but tough on business partners when they are husband and wife. Growing a business like this while raising a family has its challenges.
And all this time you were raising a child.
That's right, both of us were. And she was raising two parents. The reservation book was here, and the kid was strapped to this hip, and the plunger in this hand, and you went around and you did all the things you had to do.
How did you stay sane?
Well, that's debatable and questionable now, as you've found out already. You know, you just do what you have to do. Yeah. That's all. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't get in the business. If you had any doubts to begin with that you could do it, financially or mentally or physically, you shouldn't do it. And, you know, and we're extremely self-confident and crazy and stupid to begin with, so we thought, hey, just another thing in life.
And so daughter Elena grew up, figuratively and literally, in the bed and breakfast business, while her parents grew apart.
I think it was fun when I was little because I liked to entertain all the guests. And some parts, though, I didn't like so much. I didn't get as much time with my parents. I had to take carpools to school and staying after school and stuff because they were always so busy.
So what's the most bizarre thing that she's done, in your opinion?
When I was little, we used to live upstairs in two of the rooms. 11 was my room and 10 was their room, and we started getting so busy that she would book their room out, and so in the middle of the night they would come and sneak into my room and sleep with me because they would book their rooms, until finally we just moved into the basement to have more room.
You live in the basement.
But you still have done that when we've overbooked once here. You had people at our own house that stayed, didn't you? At our own house.
Did.
Louise Stewart can be forgiven her zeal to make a traveler's stay at the Grant Corner Inn an enjoyable experience. She grew up in the business, literally.
I first met the Stewarts when I was about 11 years old, and my family used to take us to the Camelback Inn for vacations. And as a child, it was a very special time for me because we would go on horseback rides, and I love to dance, so I always entered their dance contest. Jack Stewart was known throughout the world as a premier innkeeper, the founder of the Camelback Inn. And he and Louis always took impeccable care of their guests, their inn, and made sure that everyone had a fabulous time. That's where Louise learned all of her fabulous gifts from growing up in that environment. There were always famous people around. Barry Goldwater was always there. All the movie stars would come. You know, Hopalong Cassidy was a fixture. And as a kid, Hopalong Cassidy, my God, what more could you want? And many of the stars came to me. You know, I thought that's how life was. I didn't really know that was really unique. So to me, a movie star wasn't a big deal because they were always around.
The whole history of Camelback Inn has been an inspiration to me and to many who knew how that all evolved. They started with, I believe, like 30 rooms in little cottages that were built around a main building. It was all adobe. But my dad had this tenacity. He was extremely persistent. He was extremely hardworking. He put this whole inn together. He married my mom about 2 years after he started the inn, and together they built this inn to what it was when they sold it, which was 30 years later. But it had worldwide recognition. It was a beautiful resort, and basically it was because the work that they put into it, it was unbelievable.
The Camelback Inn, located in Scottsdale, Arizona, still remains a legacy to the vision and dedication of Jack and Louise Stewart. Santa Fe's Grant Corner Inn also provides travelers the ultimate in hospitality, quality, and romance. But the hard work behind the scenes sometimes takes a toll on innkeepers. It finally caught up with Louise and Pat. They divorced 3 years ago.
What happened?
Too much intensity of being and making decisions with a couple. Both of Pat and I are very into doing what we feel is right, and our integrity is most important. So with that integrity in mind, we would be doing different things and saying, no, I think that, you know, this should be the way it should look. No, I think this should be. And we had to divide our departments, so to speak.
You know, you can go so long, and then all of a sudden things, you have to decide, you know, do you keep going in a negative direction for whatever the reasons, or do you finally say, you know, I've got to stop this for my own benefit, the family benefit. You have to stop it and change, and then, you know, you make those decisions. Do you continue that way, or do you get a divorce, or what you do, you know? So.
But then you came back.
And we came back full circle. Here we are again, right back where we started from.
Pat and Louise have been back together as innkeepers for about a year. They've never stopped being caring parents. But once again, they're successful business partners working together, and two people trying to fix the cracks in their personal relationship.
Why did Pat come back? I think because we missed each other, and I think that in a way he also missed the inn as well, even though we had our troubles with that intense relationship. I think there were so many things at the inn that he enjoyed doing, and I think that I can see it in his energy since he has been back, that he is so very positive about doing those things that he used to do here, but putting different things into them. Like, for example, the food that he may have cooked 15 years ago, he's putting a whole different spin on it. You know, he's trying other things, and he's getting a huge enjoyment out of doing those things.
Thousands of travelers flock to Santa Fe year-round. It's known for its wonderful art galleries, southwestern hospitality, and of course, its shopping, from designer boutiques to Indian vendors. Travel in Style will return in a moment.